Taxes? Many of us find it a challenge to even pay attention. But paying taxes? All right, what does the Bible, in fact, have to say about paying taxes? Okay, I realize as a believer that this world is not my home. I'm just passing through, as the old song says. But now that I think about it, the last time I stayed at a motel, I had to pay a room tax. So, in fact, just about every time I turn around, I'm paying some sort of a tax. That's simply a reality of life. Some things I want from my government, and some things I don't. I want my freedom. I want a strong national defense. I just sort of wish the military could defend me against high taxes. Okay, enough whining. What does the Bible say? Well, in Matthew 22:17 through 21, this is what the scripture says. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? Now those are people basically just trying to sort of set Jesus up to put him at odds with the Roman government. And here's how he answers. By the way, just bear one other thing in mind. Paying tribute, that is, paying taxes. That's the way it used to be referred to. But Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, Why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought him a penny, which, by the way, should give us an indication there's been a lot of inflation over the years. But anyway, he gets this Roman coin, and when he looks at it, this is what happens. And he saith unto them, Whose is this image and superscription? In other words, what's the face on the coin? They say unto him, Why, it's Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things which are God's. If you are tempted to say, well, you just don't know my situation. Where I live, I don't agree with those in power. In fact, I think they're corrupt. Well, excuse me. Did you perhaps forget that Jesus was talking about the Roman government? Did you ever think about the fact that the taxes were probably used to buy a wooden cross one day? Was Rome citizens, or for that matter, was Rome especially Christian friendly? I don't think so. Remember that God can use the imperfect to accomplish his perfect will. That's important to understand. Remember Romans 13:1 through 7. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Therefore resist the power. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. In other words, you're driving down the highway, you see a speed limit sign. Well, if you're obeying the speed limit, that's not a problem. You're driving down that same road, you see a police car behind you. That's not a problem if you're not breaking the law. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same, for he is the minister of God to thee for good works. What God is saying is he's saying that he can use the powers that be. He can use law enforcement. He can use the government. He could even use the Congress. Can you imagine such a thing? But if thou do that which is evil, then be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain. In other words, there is a purpose in structured government that God can utilize. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. And I realize that it's not a perfect government. There's not perfect people working all of this. But the structure God can definitely use. The word continues, Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. So do the right thing. For this cause pay ye tribute also, pay the tax. For they are God's ministers attending continually upon this very thing. Render therefore to all their dues, tribute to whom tribute is due, custom to whom custom, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor. And yes, I know that is not always an easy thing to do, especially as a Christian. There's things that bother us. But we have a responsibility because what we do to honor God, if not people. So the powers or authorities or governments God will in fact use. So be careful if you raise your hand against government. There are times in the life of a nation that the people must stand, and I understand that. In such moments, they must be ready to stand and if need be fight for liberty's sake. But excluding such times, we honor God when we are the best citizen of our country. That includes service and paying taxes. By the way, if you live in a republic or a democracy, remember, both don't come free. They need our personal involvement. So if you are a Christian and you honestly have the wisdom of God, which we have simply by asking, that's what God said, in your life, then exercise your freedom and demonstrate your wisdom by voting. If you don't like the choices on the ballot box, well then get your name on the ballot or get involved enough to support someone else that you can believe in. Pay your taxes and pay attention to the ballot boxes. We do have a responsibility. The powers that be are ordained of God. We'll answer to God both for how we handle our financial resources and our freedoms, including that right and the responsibility to cast a vote. Have you got a question? Send your question to ask@askthepastornow.com. That's ask@askthepastornow.com. And please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and always remember that through Christ you can succeed. Thank you.